How's it going? Chris from Wicked Repairs here. Hope you enjoyed today's video. It's a 2007 Ford Edge SEL all-wheel drive. And what we have here, my fiance was on her way to work and had a little issue with the shifter cable, and the vehicle would not shift. So got it back to the house and looking to see what's going on. And basically what happened was the shifter cable end that connects to the transmission is worn out and popped off, and you can't shift. So I got a new cable, and I'm going to show you a couple things here that you can do to basically diagnose it or check some stuff, and what we're going to do here. So the center console that goes right over the shifter, it has your cup holders and everything. It just has little clips right there. Okay, there's like 4 little clips on the back side here, and all you have to do is grab this portion and pull it up, and it pops right up from where these clips are down here, and it pulls off and just pulls right up to the side. If you don't have the room to pull it up because your shifter is in park or a little too far forward, put your parking brake on so the machine doesn't roll, and this little piece would sit right in here, and you just use a little flathead screwdriver to pop it out of this place. And right where the flatheads, where that part is, there's a white piece in there. You can see it right here, and you could push down on that with a flathead screwdriver and move your shifter. So when I did that, I noticed that it was extremely loose. Okay, so there was no resistance in here as if it was pulling the cable or shifting the transmission. It was just flopping back and forth. So you got to push that detent down, and you have to hold it down, and you pull in the shifter just like you normally would and move it. If it feels that there is resistance, then you probably have a transmission issue. Seeing that there was no resistance, it's either a broken cable or a broken cable end, or it came apart. And that's what happened here, is that it's worn off on the portion of the clip that attaches to the transmission. And if you need to replace the cable, it connects on an eye loop here underneath and connects here. There's a little plate in the firewall that has 2 nuts that hold it on further down. So this basically goes straight down through the console, to the firewall, and into your transmission. So we're going to go to the transmission side and show you where it comes out there. So right there, you see that little white piece, that clip? That's where the cable goes into your transmission. We're going to access that. I've already actually popped it on by hand, and it seems to be holding okay, but I'm sure it's not going to hold forever or very long. I'm sure if there was any resistance, if it was parked on a hill or something like that, where your transmission, when you put it in park, has some tension on it, it would probably pop back off again. Who knows? So we're going to replace that cable end, the clip, and to access it easier, which I could do it just like that, but I want to take off this stuff so you can see how to take it off and access that better, have more room. So you have your throttle body right here, and you have the air intake that comes in here from your air plenum. There's a flathead screwdriver here. We're going to loosen that up. I've already removed this hose, and this would attach right here. Okay, and all you do is move this little clip and pop it off. I want to detach that just because this is a real rigid plastic hose here. I'll probably leave the electrical connected just because we probably can, and we'll have to pull this hose off here, and we already got our tabs pulled down from the air box where we can pull the air box up. Once we get that stuff off and that clamp up, we'll be able to pull this whole assembly kind of off out of the way, and then take off the air box itself. Alright, so you can see we pulled the whole air plenum off. We left the electrical connector there. This hose that attaches here just simply pops off. Got the clamp off. Always make sure you don't get any debris inside your throttle body. Okay, looks pretty clean in there actually. The air filter, or the air box rather, does not. Looks like we might have had a little critter over here chewing. So it looks like a mouse has been chewing in there and putting some stuff in there. You see there's a lot of sand in there. So when we take this off, I'm going to clean this whole air box too. And how I'm going to take it off is by pulling this bolt here on this bracket. You can either do it here or here. I'm just going to leave that part attached and take apart where the bracket mounts here. I'm probably going to need two hands in a second here, so I'm probably going to shut off the camera, but it's coming off a little stiff if you need to put any stuff on it. And right now when it's binding up a little bit, one thing I like to do is just drive it back in a little bit and then bring it back out. Sometimes just turn it back and forth little by little will help that, but if it's too rusted and corroded underneath, you don't want it to break, which feels like it's going to. I'll spray it with a little bit of, penetrating lube, and we'll get that bolt off here, and we'll pop the air box out of the way. So that that bolt that I was taking off wound up binding up on me, so I couldn't get it off at all. So I didn't want to damage anything else, so I just loosened up this one a little bit and I pushed it off of that bushing. And you can see right here, that is where the bottom of the air box has a couple nipples that go into it, and that intake fits right in here. So we just simply, once it comes off of this grommet, you pull it off of those grommets, pull it up. Now we have access to your shifter cable. Okay, so this thing, like I said, see, there we go. I was able to pop it off. So this piece is worn inside here. The cable itself is actually good, and I have a whole new cable for it. But what I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit here, and we're just going to replace this piece. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so I do have a whole cable. Okay, I bought a whole cable. I don't even know if you can get just this end piece or not. There is the Ford factory part number, and you have to get this shifter cable from Ford. I called around everywhere. Everyone said, I don't even have it. I don't have a listing for it. Can't find it, blah, blah, blah. So rather than doing, the entire cable, because there's really nothing wrong with the cable, I'm just going to replace this end. So you have to pry that up and push this portion out. Surprised I was able to kind of do that by hand. I wasn't. Okay, you can go in through this way and hold that up too. I may not be able to do this with one hand on camera. I apologize. So what you need to do though is push this portion up either here or inside here. Okay, where you can pry it up, and there we go. All right, so that popped off there, and this piece slides out to the bottom. Oh, sorry, and this piece slides up to the bottom. Okay, so you can see the orientation of it. You can see that's definitely getting worn. And that's the part that goes down. Okay, so this part with this kind of a little cutout in, that's going to fit to the driver's side of the vehicle. The flat portion here is going to be to the passenger side. So when you put the new one together, make sure it goes in that correct orientation. It just slides up. And once you slide that up, you slide the other piece on, and the clip will clip there. Make sure it's in line with whatever gear you happen to be in. I mean, the best to do it is in park if you can have park. Right now we are in park, because you can adjust it. You can adjust it improperly, where you go to put it in park, and if you're on a hill, if it doesn't fully engage in park, it could roll. You never know. So you have to make sure. I think you want it kind of to be in the most forward position you can. Of course, that is going to matter on, like I said, what gear you were in and where it lays here, and it should be pretty easy to just kind of line this up here. So okay, because this is in park, we've never had an issue with that. So, and we're not replacing the cable to need any adjustment possibly, so we're just replacing this end. And yeah, so we'll grab the new one over here. Already started pulling it apart. I'm just going to save the cable in case in the future we ever have an issue. Okay, so we come back over here. Like I said, the cutout goes to the driver's side, flat side goes to the passenger side, and that side is down. Okay, so even where that green little paint is, that's going to go to the passenger side. So I'm going to stick that in here. I'm going to set it where it goes. That didn't even go in all the way, so I'm going to need an extra hand here for pressure to push that on. Of course, being the new one, it's going to be stiff. So you could always put a little grease on it too, just a little teeny bit. Put it on there, pop it down in there, and this clip slides into place, and you slide it until this little clip, that little lock mechanism goes on there, and you're done. Alright, so what I ended up doing, and you want to be careful with it because you don't want to ruin this where the locking mechanism comes in, but I grabbed the pair of channel locks because it was so stiff, which is good. You want that thing to be stiff and be on there. And I just slowly squeezed it down till it sat down inside here. And that thing's nice and tight now. Put the shifter cable over it. And then we're going to get this on here. You push it till it's engaged all the way, make sure it's on there, and you're good. So now we got a brand new clip in the end, and we shouldn't have any issues for another 170,000 miles hopefully, because that's where we are at in this vehicle. 2007 Ford Edge SEL all-wheel drive. That's how you replace the shifter cable end. Luckily it was a pretty easy fix. Of course I had to call a million places to find the part and realize that I could only get it from a Ford dealership. Luckily, one that I contacted did have one in stock. Just so you're aware, if you have to ever replace a starter on this vehicle, this is the same exact way that you're going to have to access a starter, because it's right back here. Okay, it goes right into your motor right there. So the same procedure to access a starter, you know, for getting into this vehicle. So you see right there the Ford Motor Company original starter. So you'd have to take the whole air plenum off. So that's basically it. That's the fix. Just gonna clean this up, as I said. I'm gonna wash this all out, clean this out, and put everything back together. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and hope to catch you on the next one. Thank you very much. Please hit that like and subscribe.